Okay, so we have a square. We know it's a square because our dimensions are the same. So these lines mean that they're both 8 centimeters. So the area total of the shape equals the area of the square plus the area of half a circle. Now yesterday when you did these, you totally did them separate and add them together at the end. We're just going to practice doing a little bit of work together, making a nice little formula. Okay? And we're just going to practice a couple of them, and you're free to do what you want for the others. So the area of total, what's the area of a square? Side length squared or s squared? Your choice, whether you want to write side squared or s, doesn't matter to me. It's not a 5, it's an s. Plus a full circle is pi r squared. What will I do to get half a circle? Divide by 2. Okay, so now I can substitute in my numbers. For the side length, or the letter s, it would be s squared, or 8 squared. And pi, oh, I guess the radius is 8 then? What? 4? How'd you get that? Good. Okay, and we're not going to give you the radius very often. So you have to be aware to take the 8, divide by 2, so you go to your radius and don't use your diameter. 4 squared, divide by 2. Good. Value of 8 squared, what do we do math-wise? Yep. 8 times 8, exactly. Okay, the 2 means there's 2 8s. 8 times 8, which is?
64.
Why is it doing that now? It's never done that before. Oh, horrible. Okay, so area is 8 times 8, which is 64. Pi r squared, so it's pi times 4 squared divided by 2. What we do is 4 squared first, always exponents. What's 4 squared? 16, then divide by 2. What do we get? 8. Okay, so this should be 8 times pi. Now on the calculators, 64 plus 8 pi. Please take your calculators out. If you don't have a calculator, come get one. If you have a phone, you can use your phone for right now because it's the first week. Just turn it sideways and you'll see your pi button. Please, everyone, press your pi button. Is smart enough to know, hey, do the multiplication first, then do the addition. So your calculator is following BEDMAS, right? Multiply first, then add. If you have an old school calculator, you're going to type it almost as you see it. You'll go 64 plus 8 times pi. So yes, your calculator will do the multiplication first. Then when you press equals, it'll add it together. Okay? So there's 2 types of calculators, the new and the old. The new calculators, you see those letters on your screen. So round to 1 decimal, what is it? Sorry, round to the nearest tenth. 89.1. Okay, and that's going to be centimeters squared. So 89.1 centimeters squared. Right. What do we call the second decimal place? Yep. Sorry? Yeah. What do we call it? What's the place value? Because the first decimal place is called the tenths.
Oh, hundreds.
Hundreds. Okay. What about the third? Thousands. And usually we don't round to thousands. Not very accurate. Okay. Good. So the first part of the formula was s squared plus pi r squared divided by 2. And the side length was 8. And then we have half the circle. Now again, what you can do is do them separate. You don't have to. It's just a kind of an advanced way of writing it. Any questions? Shape number 2. Okay. If you want to do them together, you would say the area total equals the area of the square plus the area of the triangle. So I kind of use little subscripts of a square and a triangle. However, if you want to do this separate, you feel free. It doesn't matter to me which way you do it. Go ahead. Try it. should be using your calculator for this. 12 times 5 is large, but what can I do first instead of going 12 times 5 for my triangle? Gibson? 12 times 10? No, not 10.
5 times 6.
5 times 6? Well, how'd you get the 6?
5 times
Go ahead.
5 times 10. And then 5 times 2 minus the other.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're talking about now. Yeah, 5 times 10 times 5, or 5 times 10 and 2 times 5. So it'll be 50 and 10. Altogether 60. Okay, that totally works. What else could you do? And then you have to divide by 2, right, for the bottom. Good work. What else could you do first? I think you're on to that, Caleb. Exactly. So what you could do is do your division first and go 12 divided by 2. Okay, right here, and which is 6. And then you could go 6 times 5. Good job, both of you. Right, 6 times 5, 30. Okay. And add them together, total is 174 meters squared. Don't forget your units, double check. Units are important. Any questions? Okay, next one. So this is an actual, well, what happened was this is my deck in the backyard. Had a big tree there. That's why they built the deck so funny. Actually, there's 2 trees. This one was like about 6 feet across. Then there's another one that's about 3 feet across. Huge. Okay, anyways, how can we calculate this area of this? Like, what did the guy do when he came to my house to give me a cost on this? Because he has to know what the surface area is so he can tell me how much material he has to pay for and how much that's going to cost me. What shapes do you see? Yep. Come up here, draw it. There's more than one way to do this, so keep looking. See what you see. Okay. What's the middle one?
Rectangle or triangle?
Triangle,
Yeah.
but the top is, the only problem is that right there.
Okay.
Right? So what you could do is break it down right there. Then you'd have this would be a perfect triangle. Okay, good. Anyone else? Who else? There's more than one way to do this. Come on, folks, let's go. Who sees something different? What about extending this line and this one? So now you have a triangle, and a triangle. Would that work? Yeah, that would totally work. Only problem with this one though is you'd have to be careful because this might actually go if you extend it perfectly, it might go from here over, okay, or from here over. So I don't know if that one would work perfectly. You'd have to check that out, okay. What else is there? Well, that's probably the best one, okay? And then you can divide it into 2 rectangles like this or 2 rectangles like that, your choice. All right, let's go this way. Okay, so we'll break into those 2 shapes. Good. What's the measurement for this piece right here? It's not 10 because the whole length is 10. Carlos? 8. What'd you do? Good. So you took this 2 meters right here and you took it away and the leftover piece was 8. Perfect. Good. What about this? So we'll call this rectangle 1. What about rectangle 2? What's the area of that one? What's the measurements rather, sorry? What's the measurements? 9 by 2. Good. What's the measurements of this triangle now? So there's the base, there's the height. Find the measurements of the triangle. Go. You're going to have to do some subtractions. Then.
Subtracted 3 from 2 from 9.
Good. Okay, so you take 9 the whole length, minus 2 minus 3. That equaled 4. What else could you do? 9 minus what? Yeah, you could have put them together, right? 2 plus 3 is 5, and went 9 minus 5. Okay. What about the other length, the base? What'd you get for that? Yeah, go for it. Who? Green? Go for it. Oh, okay. What's the other way? Oh, I see what you're saying. The first one I showed? The 3 triangles? Okay, perfect. So how'd you get the base? For this side right here. I know, but I'm asking you to, what is it? You don't just sit there and do nothing, no? Okay, then we put you on the spot. Pardon me? 3, how'd you get it? Good, so you take 10, the bottom number, minus 5 minus 2 equals 3. Perfect. So this could be shape 3. So you can find area total equals area 1 plus area 2 plus area 3. So I'm using different subscripts again, just a different way to do it. If you want to just find them separate and add at the end, you can totally do that, right? So what you could do is take this, do that at the end, and then up here, just go ahead, find area 1, find area 2, and find area 3 separate. Your choice. Go ahead, solve. Just a sec, I did something wrong. 30. We got 48. 24, 18, and 6. So, sorry? 30. Where'd you get 30? Bottom one is 3 times 8. Remember we had to subtract the 10? Okay. So I believe it would be 48. Okay. Good. Check your work real quick. Any questions? Good. Okay, so those are some easier ones. Let's go have some more fun. You're going to see cutouts today. When you have cutouts, what are you going to have to do? Yep. Exactly. What should you find first? The big one. So you have to have your large area first, take away the smaller area, or take away the cutout. Okay? So we have here 2 circles. If we have 2 circles, what should we leave our answer as? Oh, no, not quite. What I'm getting at is, should we go to decimals? No, we should go leave it as pi. Okay? So what we have here, area equals area of the big minus area of the small. And for us, we have 2 circles. So we have the big circle, pi r squared, minus the small circle, which is also pi r squared. But the r's are very different, aren't they? Okay. So pi, the radius of the large one, is what? 11. What's the radius of the small one? 5. Okay. So 11 squared is 11 times, no, 11 squared, 11 times 11. Okay. 121. Okay. So up front, we have 121 pi's. What do we have at the back? What do we have to take away? How many pies? Josh? 25. So if you have your mom made you 121 pies and you ate 25 pies, how many pies would there be remaining? What would you do to figure that out? Take 121 and subtract 25. You're only dealing with those numbers. So you would have 96 pies left over. Does pie change? No. A pie is a pie is a pie. Okay? That's your answer, 96 pi. And that would be meters squared. Now, if I want a decimal, I'd say round to the nearest tenth or round to the nearest hundredth. But I want the exact answer, which is 96 pi. Any questions? All right. What about the next shape? Do we have shapes other than circles?
Yeah.
Yeah. So your final answer is going to have to be a decimal. Okay. Good. So what does the area total equal? Area of circle, because that's the largest, minus area of the triangle. Exactly. Okay. So a circle, what's the formula? That's for triangle. Okay, base times height divided by 2. Okay. Okay, substitute in, put in your numbers. So 18 times 18 is 324. That means I have 324 pies. Don't go to a decimal yet. You don't need to. And then you can figure out your triangle is 162. No pies there in your triangle, just 162 centimeters squared. So now on your calculator, if you have a new calculator that shows the pi sign when you press pi, you'll type it in as you see it, and your calculator will do the multiplication first, then the subtraction. If you don't have the pi button, make a pi sign, you actually have to hit your multiplication button. So your calculator will multiply, and then it will follow BEDMAS and subtract at the end. Round to the nearest tenth, please. Round to the nearest tenth. Everyone should try that on the calculator to make sure you can do it. Does anyone need help finding their pi button? Come on up, Josh. Anyone else need help? Good. Any questions? Last one. What you need to do is find the measurements of the circles. So go ahead, work on that now. Find the diameter of the circle, then the radius, and then find the width of the rectangle. Use some logic. Length. So one circle goes from there to here, and the other one goes here. They're both equal circles. So if this whole measurement is 16, what would be the diameter, or half of it? 8. Diameter of the circle is 8. What's the radius? 4. Good. Now what's the width of the rectangle? I'll give you a hint. The diameter also goes sideways. Good. 8. So the rectangle is 8 by 16. What's the radius of one circle? 4. Okay. So find the area of one circle, times it by 2 at the end, and find the area of the rectangle. Round to the nearest hundredth, please. Nearest hundredth. 0.47. Okay, 27.47. Good. What's your units?
Millimeters squared.
Millimeters squared. Good. Any questions?
No.